So Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is officially out, and the internet is in absolute chaos. Critics are calling it a lifeless cash grab. Fans are defending it like it's the Super Bowl, and Rotten Tomatoes, let's just say, the numbers are wild. So is this movie actually bad, or is this just another case of critics not understanding the fan base? Let's talk about it. If you watched my review of the first movie, you already know I didn't hate it, but I definitely didn't love it. It felt safe. PG-13 safe. So going into FNAF 2, I wasn't expecting F-grade level horror, but I was expecting improvement, especially after all the talk about listening to feedback. So did they level up, or did they glitch out? Here's where it gets interesting. Last week, the big trending headline was the critics score versus audience score gap. Critics sitting embarrassingly low, audience score way higher. That's not normal unless something's going on, and that right there is the culture clash. This movie wasn't made for critics. It was made for people who grew up watching theory videos at 2 a.m. trying to figure out who William Afton really is. And yeah, that matters. Let's start with what actually works. The animatronics, insane. The practical effects look clean. You can tell Blumhouse kept that gritty, physical texture instead of drowning everything in CGI. And visually, when the toy animatronics show up, that's when the movie finally wakes up. That's the energy we wanted from the start. But here's the issue, the pacing. This movie takes forever to get moving. It feels like we're stuck in emotional therapy sessions instead of a horror movie. By the time the actual Five Nights at Freddy's stuff kicks in, we're halfway through the runtime. And horror-wise, it's not scary. It's tense sometimes, but scary. Not really. The animatronics talk too much. Once the mystery drops, so does the fear. Mike's storyline feels stretched. Vanessa's trauma gets hinted at, but never fully explored. And Abby. Look, I get she's important to the plot, but half the chaos in this movie happens because she makes decisions that just don't make sense. And that's frustrating when the stakes are supposed to be high. Now let's be real. When the classic animatronics show up together, that scene hits. That was clearly designed for the fans. And honestly, in that moment, I get why the audience score is high, because emotionally, it works. Logically, that's another conversation. Another thing people were talking about last week, box office projections. Even with mixed reviews, this movie is still making money, and that tells you something. The FNAF fanbase is loyal. Critics can drag it all they want, but the franchise brand is strong enough to survive it. That's power. Here's my real concern. If this is setting up FNAF 3, they have to commit to a tone. Either go full horror or lean into campy fun. But this middle ground identity crisis, that's what's holding it back. Because the games had atmosphere, each one felt distinct. This movie still feels like it's figuring out what it wants to be. So here's my honest rating. As a film, it's messy. As a fan experience, there are moments you'll enjoy. If you love the lore and just want to see these characters on the big screen, you'll probably have fun. If you're expecting next level horror, you might walk out disappointed. So now I want to know, are you team critics are right or team fans don't care? We're eating anyway. Drop your score below. Let's talk about it. Because whether you loved it or hated it, you're probably still watching the third one. And honestly, that might be the scariest part.